We're live?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure we're live? Is this thing on? Hello, everybody out there? Guys, welcome to the show. It is the Man Cave Archive. It is 8 p.m.
Yep.
Yeah, we're just trying to make sure all our social medias are up. So just give us a second. We came in a little bit earlier just to make sure that we got everybody on point. Make sure our logistics are on. So how y'all doing this evening? It is the Man Cave Archive, and tonight we got some heat. What we got, brother?
Yo, we got the One Piece chapter 1021 discussion, Demonio. We have the Bleach one shot arc, the Hell arc. Is Bleach coming back weekly, or is it going to be a monthly release or a quarterly release like he does with Burn the Witch? And then we got some video game news for y'all as well. Let's get a little bit into it with some movie news real quick. The dude who plays Peter Parker's best friend in the Homecoming and Far From Home movies, Jacob Battalion. He's been cast in Sci-Fi's Reginald the Vampire. It's a drama. It's a dramedy that's going to be obviously on the Sci-Fi Network channel, so you can check it out there. It's about based on Johnny B. Trant's Fat Vampire book series. Talk about getting typecast. No offense. But kind of walked into that one. But I didn't even walk. But anyway, plays Peter Parker's sidekick. Ned leads in Spider-Man Homecoming and sequels is making the move to television to sink his teeth into Sci-Fi's newly announced vampire series, Reginald the Vampire.
That's a terrible way to say that.
We just picked up a straight series, 10-episode order. The series will follow Reginald Baskin Battalion, who tumbles headlong, which I believe is the language, into a world populated by beautiful, fit, and vain vampires, and must navigate every kind of obstacle the girl he loves but can't be with, a bully manager at work, and the vampire chieftain who wants him dead, though fortunately he discovers he has a few unrecognized powers of his own. So this is going to be him complaining about being a fat vampire while also not doing anything about his fat vampire life. What is most of 1990s/2000 TV series complaining about complaining. I'm not interested in it, but I figured it would be a good lead off topic to just kind of run through the news on. Did you want to discuss that? I've thrown enough shit at it already. But.
Listen. This logic is annoying, man. It's like I don't know what's going on. It's like we've decided that we no longer wish to aspire for anything. Mm-hmm. Like that's exactly why like Superman looks the way he looks, Batman looks the way he looks, all the heroes look the way they look. It wasn't a thing of like, hey, we hate fat people. Look, I'm fat. Okay, listen, I'm fat. Okay. As there's a variety of reasons why, but at the end of the day, it's my fault. I got to get on top of my mess and handle my business. But the fact of the matter is, I would never ask somebody, hey, can you lower the bar for me, please? No, I can't. How about we do this? Instead of lifting weights, let's lift spoons to our mouths. Thing I looked at. I mean, it's like I was complaining to my brother the other day. We were watching ESPN. And I'm watching Brian Windhorst go in on this is unacceptable because the American basketball team lost a game in the world, competition, basically going against everybody. Yeah. And he's over here, this fat slob of a man who looks like he hasn't seen the inside of a gym since middle school when they were playing dodgeball. And he was always tagged because he was too slow. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but he looks like the heaviest thing he lifts is a spoon to his fat mouth. And you're over here complaining about what's not acceptable. Yeah. And it's just, it's like enough of this. It's like, there's no self-awareness in this world anymore. There's just absolutely no self-awareness anymore. And I hate going on a rant about it, but it's just like, golly. Yeah. can people calm down already? Like, I mean, now you have a TV show about fat vampires.
Yeah, self-indulgent. That's probably a self-insert from somebody else who's probably the showrunner who's probably fat himself.
Self-insert, like he ate himself.
In other news, we have the box office reporting for Suicide Squad. It had a domestic total of $26.5 million. They're trying to blame that on also being available on HBO Max. I mean, personally, if I have HBO Max, we all share accounts in this house. We have Netflix between one another, Amazon TV. We have HBO Max. There's no reason for me to go out to a movie theater. Not that I don't like James Gunn. I do obviously feel like Guardians of the Galaxy is the best first film in the series in the whole Marvel phase ones or phase two. I believe it was Guardians phase two. I believe that one right there had the best start off with Star-Lord. Obviously him coming down the planet to dance scene. Yeah, just hilarious. But obviously with everything going on with the whole Coof and the variant that's out there, the variant that's out there. It's not really a variant, hint. But why would I go out and spend? Obviously I have Tisla Town right down the street here in Texas is about $6 for like matinee. Yeah, $6 and 30 cents.
I don't know. That COVID wiped out everything, so it might be $12.
It might be $12 now. But come on, am I really going to pay on top of having Netflix, which is already $12? HBO Max, which is what, $8 a month. Amazon Prime is $12 a month. Why the frick would I go out to the theater and spend another $12? To go and support? Again, I like James Gunn. I love what he does, but why would I go out there and do that? This is the problem with streaming. Premiere the next weekend. Have an incentive for folks to get out there. Now you can shoot back and say, well, Godzilla did well. Well, people were wanting to get out there. They were tired of being, at home, the whole year. And so Godzilla was the first major release that even did well. So there's a difference. You're talking about Godzilla was what, March? Yeah. Now we're in August. You're talking about a 5-month difference now. And that is worn off now, obviously. Yeah. And plus Suicide Squad was rated R, right? Yeah. Rated R movies, they've routinely have not done well until some of the Marvel movies have done well. But it's like, rated R movies typically do not do well. And so why would you expect a rated R blockbuster to do well in this current climate?
I personally think that
ignorant.
I personally think that it's bigger than that. I think it's deeper than that. I think that right now people are tired of comic book movies, honestly. Period. And I think that it's just it was a novelty. Guardians of the Galaxy was a novelty because they didn't feature the top line. Thor, Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Captain America. Even like now we're hearing people talk about how Scarlet Witch is a dud, and people are freaking out. They're losing their minds. They've been bamboozled, led astray. they believe that they're entitled to this money, and people feel like comic movies have now become too formulaic. They're predictable. I know exactly what's going to happen before it happens. Why am I going to go spend my rationed money? By the way, why am I going to spend my rationed money? Because I can't afford everything I was affording before. Exactly. That's exactly what's happening. With all the prices of everything going up, it's taken away from that overall pot of money that you had every month. So that $40,000 a year hits different when you're spending roughly about, 70, but maybe about $200 every 2 weeks on gasoline. That's $400 a month. That takes away from that, all these increases in expenditures because of just the pricing of everything going up. Yeah. So now what used to be just dumb comedy or just dumb like minutia, if you will, just your brain is taking a break or whatever. People have become much more selective with how they spend their money. And I think that the comic book movie industry has kind of failed on a couple points.
Yeah.
They decided to not go for the low hanging fruit, the stuff that fans really, really wanted. Instead, they went for stuff like Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I have no interest in
Oh,
seeing
I smell the
Shang-Chi.
flop on that one.
Exactly. That and Eternals are going to flop hard.
I can smell it.
We actually have a comment from Reset DGK, aka Gio. Shout out to you, Gio.
What's good, homie?
He said, he actually had fun while watching the movie, which I have no doubt the movie is good. It's James Gunn. He's a phenomenal director. I like Guardians 1. 2 was good. Wasn't as good as one was, just in my opinion. But he's done a fantastic job with that series thus far.
Yeah.
And so I have no doubt
to take stars that nobody knew were stars and make them stars.
Exactly. With that cast, besides Christopher, I was thinking Pine. I don't know why I'm thinking Pine. What's his last name?
Pratt.
There you go.
And Bautista.
Pratt, Zoe Saldana, who had already had legs from Star Trek. Those first two, and then Dave. Everybody else, and even though you had Mr. Dom himself, Vin Diesel, but he just said one line that the whole movie, which is Groot. So like, and even you have Mr. Cooper, voicing Rocket Raccoon. He's a CGI character, so it's like you would really just be going there just to hear his lines.
Yeah.
But with like Suicide Squad, as I said, I have no doubt it's good. It's just the current climate. Plus, it's rated R, and you can watch it at home. As they're pointing out in this headline again, everything like we're actually reading from tonight. Per usual, is from IGN. But if they actually made a price hike or made a buy-in cost in order to get HBO for like the weekend, you would have probably seen sales go even higher. But it's just a current climate. Like a rated R movie is not going to do well in this climate unless it's like something that everybody just has to see. And unfortunately, Suicide Squad is not a half to like see movie, especially with having the taste of the first movie in your mouth. I'll probably turned off a lot of folks. But that right there is that story. We'll go over one more smaller one before we get to our main topic. Funimation acquires Crunchyroll. All right, so that also means that they own VRV. So, because VRV is an offshoot of Crunchyroll, so Funimation pretty much does most of the dubbing for all the modern anime out there. They do One Piece. They do what else do they do? They do Black Clover. They do they do a lot of series. Obviously, Dragon Ball series. Funimation's been behind like dubbing of a lot of those animes, and now which Funimation, if you didn't know, Funimation is Sony, because Sony owned Funimation. Now they own Crunchyroll, which is aka VRV. So the great news out of this is that I don't need to have anything else when I can just have one ring to rule them all. Now, if they still are trying to sell a separate service, would just be kind of price gouging to me. You can just hike the price on one universal. Well, obviously they're gonna have to build that up first, because if you're gonna be merging, because they all have different interfaces with how everything looks. VRV is yellow and black. Funimation is purple, and a whole bunch of different things going on there. And Crunchyroll is kind of lame how it looks, honestly. But but that is news right there. They acquired them for $1.2 billion. They had to go through a whole antitrust thing, because obviously they do have a monopoly on the market now. With most of the dubbing.
It's still hilarious because they bought that from Time Warner. Time Warner actually owned Crunchyroll, which was funny that they bought into it. And the way that I'm looking at it is that they know that fans, guys, man, what a time to be alive. Like, our industry is being bought for billions now. Like, guys, we again, I remember when we used to buy Metabots on DVD, and right next to that, it was the adult movie section. You're like, boys, we can't look at that.
Exactly.
So, you know, it's what a time to be alive, man. I mean, like we're watching our industry literally make billion-dollar transactions, like from manga to anime, video games, movies. Movies been doing it, but man, listen, one day we're gonna look up, they're gonna be making live action versions of Dragon Ball. Well, Dragon Ball Evolution is trash. But they're making live action versions of One Piece.
Which I already have a Netflix series coming out, so you already know how Netflix is going to do it. If you've seen the animation for the last seasons of the Seven Deadly Sins, you already know where that's going, in the dumpster. But yeah, for sure. Just bringing us back to the last topic real quick. Another comment from Gio. He said, you know, he basically said that, like, he can't see that first film in the Guardians being redone or that cast being redone, even though Dave Bautista, at first said he wasn't going to come back because James Gunn wasn't there, and then even like earlier this year he said he wasn't going to be coming back for how they did Drax. He thought Drax should have had a more important role in Endgame, simply because he did have that vendetta against Thanos.
Yeah,
for what Thanos did, but they decided to give moments to characters that really shouldn't have had moments. I'm not going to get into the whole nonsense there.
Man, that's hot.
But there were 3 characters who really had vendettas against Thanos, and
Thor was one of them.
2 characters who, I'm not saying Iron Man didn't have a vendetta against him, but
you got a point.
The 3 people who had the most vendettas against Thanos was Thor, son of Odin.
Yeah,
he had the most because Thanos literally destroyed New Asgard. There was obviously Scarlet Witch, and then you have it to where there was Drax, and then I would even say both of his daughters, Gamora and I always forget her name. I don't know why I'm blanking on her name.
Gamora and
I'm blanking on her name.
I'm right there with you. You don't worry about it.
Help me out, Gio. You're in the comment section. Help me out. Gamora and
Google.
Exactly. Anyway, there were 5 characters who really had a vendetta against Thanos, and it came down to Nebula. There you go, Nebula, and it came down to Iron Man and Captain America, and I was like, they made Thor a meme throughout the movie, which is disrespectful. By the way, they actually made me care about Thor, because everybody knows me. As a kid, I never liked Thor. I thought he was a boring hero. I always thought it was stupid for him to be in Marvel.
Thor was the greatest
because he was a Norse mythology god. So I was like, what does he need to be in Marvel for?
I balance this out.
But the first Thor movie made me care about his actual character. The second one was all right, but Ragnarok was really good. It hit a really nice sweet spot.
Yeah.
And then you saw how his character was developing in Infinity War, and then you come back and he's a fat slob, and it's like
fat ass.
It's like, really?
I'm sorry. It was distracting to me.
It was
distracting to me. I couldn't take him serious.
After he met his mom, that was the point for him to get back on point. But then he comes back and he's still goofy, and they're like, "Oh, the only one who could do the snap would be Hulk." And it's like, did we just forget that Thor took a star to his chest to forge Stormbreaker? Hulk can't even go out in outer space. Thor was literally in outer space doing that.
Thor is a god.
And it's like, what are we doing here? It's like they completely crapped on Thor's character.
Yeah, but they made a mistake. They made a huge mistake, because the Infinity storyline really does revolve around Thanos and Adam Warlock.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 2 linchpins. And then it goes even further. I'm not a big fan of how Marvel deals with their villains from time to time, because they kill them. And Thanos, the reason why Thanos is so legendary is because of all the different shenanigans he got himself into throughout the years. Thanos has went back in time to go help himself. He's also gone to the future and met his ruthless self. He has done.
Disturbing to see.
Was that
he said Professor Hulk was disturbing to see.
Can I be real?
I agree. I don't. He talked too much.
Can I be real?
He had way too much dialogue in the movie. I'm totally with you.
Can I be real? Professor Hulk looked like especially when he was talking to them kids. I'm just gonna say this. He was like, "Ooh, I love pizza." I did not like that at all. I hated his character. It's not that I don't really like Mark Ruffalo as an actor. I don't really feel him. I felt like every scene he was in, Mark Ruffalo was in, it only worked because somebody else was there.
Yeah, he had too much of that. He had that Dennis Quaid effect.
Yeah.
For me, I like Dennis Quaid in some roles, but Dennis Quaid has roles where he's always making that same face. Exactly. And it gets annoying to see.
It's like,
okay, dude, can you change it to face? Can you do something with your face? It's not working. I know it sounds like a stupid complaint, but it's like really, Mark Hulk didn't work because it was such a lame reason how he was able to turn back into the Hulk. I don't even remember the reasoning. That's how lame it was.
Yeah.
It's like in Endgame.
He got his behind handed to him by
Infinity War
by Thanos,
and then I'm not coming back
and
out.
he just says I'm not coming out.
And it was like,
and it was like, guys, if you go read Jim Starlin's comic book of the Infinity War and the Infinity Gauntlet, you'll see Hulk is constantly present. Mm-hmm. The other thing is that the X-Men were present. We don't want to talk about that. Mm-hmm. But Adam Warlock opened up more storylines. And that's what I felt like was a mistake that they made. Now, they're going to say, no, there's no mistakes here. But I really believe the mistakes are going to be seen as we're going forward. Because I think that unfortunately, they may have jumped the shark and not realized they did.
Yeah.
I think that they may have, and I'm going to say exactly what that jump the shark moment was. Captain Marvel. It was Captain Marvel. And I'm going to tell you why it was Captain Marvel. They tried to shoehorn something. Everything else has been, up to this point, has basically been built through progressions and has been relatively faithful to the comic books. I'm not trying to be funny. Anytime any one of these movies come to life, the best stories are the one that have a comic book as a skeleton. Days of Future Past, legendary. X-Men, First Class, legendary. Even when you go into Guardians of the Galaxy, yes, its background is the comic. Its skeleton is the comic book. Captain America, comic book. Thor, comic book. Iron Man, comic book. All of these different things have a skeleton. And when you rely on the skeleton, you do well. You know when you don't do well? When you start interjecting stuff that don't belong there. Mm-hmm. Like you make it, you want to do your very first Me Too movie. Feel bad for Scarlett because she deserved better than that. Mm-hmm. I feel bad for Brie Larson because she deserved better than that. They deserved better than that. They tried to insert stuff that didn't belong there. Guys, we are the comic book nerds. We've been geeking out over Ellen Ripley forever. We've been playing Tomb Raider forever. Samus Aran is an icon. Phoenix is an icon. Jean Grey is an icon. White Queen is an icon. We don't need to be lectured upon how we're misogynist. We're not the ones. It ain't us. It's you. You're the problem. So when we keep trying to make these movies mean something that don't really need to mean anything, because if you just look at the skeleton, it takes care of all that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I let the cat out the bag.
I wasn't a fan of how they did Thor. I thought that was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I think that
because they built up Captain America, they tore down Thor.
Yeah, they tore down Thor for no reason. I would have respected him more if you just made him an angry, stoic god who didn't talk much. And
he was there for business.
Exactly, and then you would have to had to break him out of his icy wall for like what Thanos did. Which it seemed like they were going that direction. Then you go to New Asgard, and he's a fat slob. Just garbage writing. I don't want to stay on that topic too long.
Yeah, because we already did 30 minutes into this, and we still ain't got to where we need to get to.
Exactly. So For sure. But yeah, we'll start off. You want to tackle One Piece first or Bleach?
Man, let's go. Let's go One Piece first.
One Piece first, okay.
Yeah, we gotta save the old friend for last.
All right, so this chapter of One Piece was called Demonio.
Oh yeah.
It basically stars Nico Robin.
Oh yeah.
She's going against a character called Black Maria. She's the user of the ancient. It's the ancient spider zone. It's actually from Japanese folklore. Which I'm surprised that Oda didn't just make it a mythical zone, because that's typically what she should have been, because it's a Japanese folklore tale. It's basically a woman who's half woman. The top half of the creature is a woman. The bottom half is a spider. The spider can use illusions, illusionary mist. I know the names. The Jorogumo is what the character is called. It's a yokai, which is basically an evil spirit, a demonic spirit. Is basically what Black Maria's character is based off of. And here you have Nico Robin. Her moniker or her epithet is called Demon Child.
Yeah,
she's called that because she knows how to read the ancient language of the ancient kingdom. It's what the Harins were studying back in the day. And so that's why it was the government who gave her that name, the moniker. And so here you have Black Maria and her getting into a fight. You know, she starts off the fight basically doing what like she always tries to do, which is just try. Nico is almost like a wrestler, to where basically what she tries to do is grab you around your joints, and she bends you and breaks you, as she calls it, a clutch. You know, it's basically her fighting style is to wrestle you into submission. Black Maria is a very versatile fighter, because her lower half, the spider's legs can emit poison. The spider can shoot out flames, and Black Maria herself can throw out spider web. So in this fight, you have it to where she is at a disadvantage. She, being Robin, is at a disadvantage throughout most of the fight, until Oda throws in a classic One Piece flashback. In this flashback, you have it to where she received training from both Koala. Koala is a character who we first found out about in Fishman Island arc.
Yeah.
She was rescued by Fisher Tiger from Mary Joie, which is where the Celestial Dragons reside at, since they came down. That they reside there, but Fisher Tiger had broke out a bunch of prisoners. He also broke out the Hancock sisters.
Yeah.
And so there. He sees her, and she is so traumatized by like the Celestial Dragons that everything she does, she like apologizes for the whole time. And so one point, I think it was
another sad childhood story.
Exactly. I think it was Arlong who like hit her, and she started bleeding, and immediately she rips off a part of her pants to clean up the blood, and she's like, "I won't cry," So the whole time she like she keeps on repeating that, over and over again. She's like, "You can beat me and hit me, and I won't cry," And she keeps saying, "Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me," the whole time. So she's so like traumatized with the whole thing. Jinbei is asking, he's like, "We're not gonna kill you." He's like, "Now this is before Jinbei pretty much has this whole his like, not that he had to go through a character transformation, but Jinbei and Arlong were known for like brutalizing
humans,
the like Marines. They were known for like going overboard, and it was Fisher Tiger who had to reel them back in. He was like, you like two can't do that, because you encourage the rest of them to do the same thing. They all look up to you. But anyway, Robin received training from her, and she also received training from Sabo, Luffy's surrogate brother, with his dragon fist. Now we don't get to see what type of dragon fist technique Robin learned, but we get to see two flashback scenes, one with her on Baltigo and the other one right before Koala left Dressrosa. We see them both. We see her receiving training from like her. So when Robin comes back to the present day fight after getting jobbed a little bit, but like Black
Bro.
Maria, she says fisherman karate, and so that right there set the whole fan base, wow, like man, she knows fisherman karate.
Yeah.
And so she breaks apart the like ceiling because in the meantime, Black Maria, as I said, her lower half can shoot out flames. And so she set her strings on fire, which pretty much engulfed the whole room. And Black Maria said something akin to, because Robin's devil fruit. I'm sorry for all of like jumping around, but Robin's devil fruit is called the Hana Hana no Mi, which is based off of a flower.
Yeah.
And so she was like, I would love to like see if you can like sprout. I think she says I would love to see if you can sprout. It was petals in the sea of flames. Well, Robin does because in order to make her giant hand, she has to put an amalgamation of hands together, and that's what she did. And so she hits the like ceiling. All of the rubble falls down. It douses like flames, and while Black Maria is distracted, Robin goes into her form, which is called Demonio. Basically, in this form, I don't know if any of you have ever seen Disney's Fantasia, but the giant demon in there that like Mickey takes out, that's what Robin's form.
Yeah, you can even say she looked like the real Maleficent.
Exactly, she looks like Maleficent. She's like shaded completely black, so she does this grand jacuzzi clutch to basically beat Black Maria at the very end. We shoot over to Brooke, who was there with like her the whole time, and he's telling Black, he's telling her in the fight, hey, I wouldn't be talking as much junk, as I am. If I were you, I would actually run away.
Yeah.
And so, but since everybody else got distracted by Black Maria getting taken out, they all lined up at this door trying to see what actually happened. And while they're looking through the like glass, ice over door, Brooke jumps up and uses a attack called Phrase des Arms, which is basically a music clef note in the form of a slice. And he beats all of them, including the number, the Kyun, which I believe is Kyun 9, or was it Neun or Kyun? Because I know Ki. This is how you figure out Japanese numbers. Kitoryu is 9. So Ki would be 9. Neun would be 2, I believe. So it could be the number 2. I believe it was. I think it was Neun, which would be the number 2 number. So he basically takes them all out. Then we shoot over to Luffy, Luffy's group. He's eating because he finally got all the swamp meat from Wet Hair Caribou.
Yeah.
Who is betting on Luffy to beat Kaido so that way he can actually get off of Wano. He doesn't want to be there. We know Caribou said that he wants to meet someone. A lot of people speculated that it could either be Blackbeard that he's trying to meet or Red Hair Shanks because he's trying to meet somebody important. And so he's upset. He's like, hey, you have to pay me back for like giving you all this meat and fruit and junk. And the one way he wants to be paid back is that he wants Luffy to beat Kaido. And so then you have the Heart Pirates asking Luffy, what happened on the island, what's going on. And then you shoot over to Momo when he's having a conversation with Shinobu, and Shinobu's like, no, I can't do that. If I do, you would still have the heart and mind of a child. And so he's like, I don't care. I want you to use your mature or the right fruit to turn me into an adult, so I can be a giant dragon and fly Luffy back up on top of Onigashima. And so that's pretty much the end of the chapter. That's the rundown for that chapter. And it's just crazy that, it's been like 10 to like 11 years since the post time skip has happened. And this is the first time we're seeing Nico Robin, because it was shaded in a weird way, because one of the arms, when it's coming up, you can actually see the blackness coming on top of the arm as it's going to grab Black Maria. So that's why some of the fan base was like, did she use armament hockey, or did she or is it just shading? And it's like, part of me says she used armament hockey because Black Maria doesn't have it. In order for her to actually hit folks hard, she has to put on the brass knuckles, or as she calls them, the Oiran knuckles. Which, since she referred to them as the Oiran, we know that coming into the arc, Hiyori is the current Oiran, so that means that Black Maria was the former Oiran, which just means that she was the lead prostitute for Wano Kuni. So because she actually owns the brothel house on Onigashima, Black Maria, I mean, and apparently Hiyori was her student at one point in time, so that's how you would reason that out. But what are your thoughts on this whole chapter?
I personally thought that the chapter was great. I think it's set up for a lot of expectations, and I'm not quite sure that she didn't use hockey. And the reason why I say that is because if we all know anything about Sabo, when he did use his Ryushin, or was Ryukin or was Ryushin?
Ryusoken or aka Dragon Fist.
When he used that, he literally used hockey to be able to decisively use it.
Yeah.
So why would he teach somebody without them having the full knowledge of how to do that?
Yeah.
So
obviously we have to wait on the anime to actually show us.
And I'll be honest, we probably have to wait to the SBS to really do it, because I know for a fact that there's going to be a hesitation. But the only reason why I think that it's going to be 100% certain that it was that is because Oda knows he has a story that has yet to be written, that's going to need to be written, but it's got to have some expectations on it. You can't just suddenly have Nico showing up using hockey against one of the Black Pirate members. You can't just have that. You got to have like at least a precedence that she's either used it before or it's been inferred that she was at least close to using it. 2, all of Kaido's people, they are like at least the top brass, and that's one thing I'll say about him is that he didn't spam hockey. Because one thing I'll say that I love about Oda is that he, it's kind of like I equivalent it to like this. Remember how I used to play those Superman video games? Even if they were bad or whatever, but Superman gets shot with a bullet, and it was like, explain how you got shot with a bullet. Well, this is the Man of Steel, and someone would say, well, Lex Luthor filled the air with kryptonite. The Superman ain't flying. Right. It's like, oh well, Superman only allows Lex Luthor only allows Superman to use so much of his powers. Then why would he just take all his powers? It's like, that logic on storytelling is baffling, and I think that that Oda has done a great job with balancing it out, where not everybody has access to this. Like Kaido just said, only a few people have this. What sense would it make to suddenly give it to everybody?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the only people who are going to have it are people who are part of the top brass of an Yonko. So we know Marco is going to have it.
Yeah, Marco has it. We know Marco has had it since Marineford, because when both he and Vista ran up and cut Sakazuki, he was like, oh man, he doesn't. He said something like, darn hot, I forget how he said it, but he was basically saying that these two can actually harm him if he isn't careful.
Yeah,
in that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I think it was excellent to actually see another Straw Hat member that's not Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, and Jinbei now actually use hockey, because there's not a lot of hockey users on the crew. I mean, Usopp has observation, but Oda doesn't really show him using it, except for that scene where he takes out sugar for like the second time. Yeah. So to see it here, I personally do, as you said, as the evidence you used, with the fact that Sabo taught her the Ryusoken, or more than likely he did, because he offered to, and so there's no reason to just learn Fishman Karate. Yes, we know that she learned how to do open palm, which is what Fishman Karate does, but Fishman Karate also does have the 10,000 brick tile fist, which is what Jinbei does, and Jinbei uses a closed fist. Whenever actually uses
gargoyle fist.
Exactly, he's like closed fist. Whenever he punches, sometimes
Forget a pip slap.
Exactly. The only time you see him use his open palm is when he does his over the shoulder toss, which is what he did to launch Luffy towards the admirals on the execution platform.
Yeah.
And so, but most times Jinbei uses his vagabond drill as a closed fist.
Yeah.
It's not an open hand. So I would love for Nico Robin to actually know like Dragon Fist technique. So again, when we do get to her fight, whenever she fights one of the Blackbeard pirates, Oda can just say, well, she did get trained by both. We only saw what Koala showed her. I didn't show you what Sabo showed her.
Yeah.
You know, which it was, I mean, her in that form too, using the Ryusoken. We saw what Sabo did in Dressrosa. I mean, just with using his dragon's breath, he blew apart the whole the whole stadium floor. And with his dragon fist, he broke apart. It was Burgess's his arm pad. He broke it in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
He crushed Bastille's mask, you know, by just grabbing it, you know. So
yeah,
it's an overpowered technique in the hands of an actual master of it. And so obviously, if Nico Robin knows how to do it, that puts her near the obviously not on the same level as Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji.
Yeah,
but it puts her at least a tier below, maybe Jinbei, but in that playing field to where she could possibly be a commander or a stage below commander for the Straw Hat Pirates. So I'm just glad and plus this is her first 1v1 since she fought Yama all the way back in 2004, 2006 during Skypiea.
Yeah.
So, you know, this has been like
15
years in the making.
She usually slinks off into the background
exactly.
to go and do her research on the.
She smiles a lot. And this is the first, you know, time to where, you know, again, in a long time. Because even I think Oda was, you know, he was actually talking about himself because the way Black Maria was like talking about how like she's like the only good thing about Robin is her brain. And so I think Oda was like slapping himself at the same time because he's basically saying, okay, well that's the way that I have shown her off, but there's actually a lot more to her than what I've done. So maybe he's, you know, taking the shot at himself, saying, you know what, I need to actually do more for her in this series than what I have done.
So, well, hopefully he does that with Tony Chopper. He does that with.
I mean, Tony Chopper slapped Queen and drew blood, so he's finally good enough. And his doctor feat. He didn't need help from a superior doctor in this arc. Yeah. So I will give him exactly. He has his flowers for this arc. You know, he doesn't need anything else. So you know, that right there, I believe it'll put a nice bow on our One Piece topic.
You ready?
Obviously, the big one.
Come on, man!
73 pages of just fire art. If you were someone who didn't get into Bleach, one, what is wrong with you? But no, Bleach to me, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Bleach has the best first arc of any manga I've ever read. Yeah, the Soul Society arc is top 5, if not top 3 arcs of all time. I'm not even saying that out of bias because Bleach is not my favorite manga series. My favorite manga series is One Piece. Yeah, but that's
funny how that changed.
Yeah, I believe that the Soul Society arc has the best beginning arc of any major manga or any manga in general. The plot twist that there just completely breaks ankles. You know,
you don't see it coming.
You don't see it coming at all. It's a sure feat. It's a surefire feat for what Kubo did with this series. Obviously, the end of it could have been better, but the beginning was super strong. It first starts off with this immaculate color spread of all of the captains.
Come on, man.
You got Kiriraku Shunsui. You got Kensei in here. Kirisuchi Miyori. You know, you get, even though he didn't appear, there's a few captains who don't appear inside of this chapter, which is Byakuya and Mr. Renegade himself, Kenpachi Zaraki. Yeah. They do not appear inside of this chapter Shinji appears. There's another chapter out in the distance. I mean, yeah, it's Soifang. You have Rukia. Oh, and Love doesn't appear in the chapter. Love isn't here, which I don't believe Love got. No, Love didn't get killed, but Love does Love doesn't appear, and one of the other captains in the Visitors does not appear. The short one also doesn't appear.
Yeah.
I forget her name right now. I'm blanking on her name, but Lisa, my actual favorite visitor, does appear inside of this chapter. This chapter starts off kind of wonky. It starts off about you don't know if it's Ichigo narrating the beginning of this or if it's his son who is narrating the beginning of this chapter. Because the reason why I say that is because the one who ends up having the goldfish is Kazui Kurosaki, Ichigo's son. And so I was like, I'll just read the narration. It says, okay. It says, when I was younger, I had 2 goldfish. I adored the dear things, but one day the larger one passed away. The remaining goldfish seemed so lonesome. The sight of it made me feel lonely as well. But after that day, the smaller one, which I had thought was stagnating, began to grow larger and flourish more and more. Seeing that brought me great relief, and thank goodness it was good that the larger one died. Okay, and then you get the shot of the goldfish flying in the night sky. But again, when you read a little further on, when Kazui jumps out of the window, he has the goldfish. So I was like, what do you mean when you were younger? Like you're not even 12 years old. And obviously, it more than likely it is him narrating it, but it's like, okay, which version of him is narrating the story? Is it the current near 12-year-old, or is it Kazui further on inside of the like future? We don't really know that. I'll wait a little bit because I'm waiting for my brother to actually come back. But yeah, I did like Sebastian Shaw. I actually wanted them. Kevin Bacon, he did do a great job as that character. But yeah, I mean, that's how the like chapter starts off. It starts off weird in a weird way. We do get to see Kon in the beginning. We also get to see Ichigo's wife, aka Orihime, even if it's just 2 like panels. You actually do get to like see her. And this chapter takes 12 years after the end of Bleach. So it's 12 years after the great battle against the Quincy's, or aka the Stern Ritters, aka Yawatch, aka Juhabak. It takes place a long time after them. And so, obviously, he was faking being asleep, aka him being Kazui. Kon is in here as well as a little lion stuffed teddy bear, which Kon was one of my favorite characters in the original series Bleach. But yeah, that's basically the beginning of the chapter, and then from there, so where it gets really weird. So Kazui at night goes to go meet this ghost, which is a grown man, but he says he's only 15 years old, but he's dead. Obviously, he was going. Kazui is a soul reaper the same way as his dad is, Ichigo Kurosaki. But the difference here is that he can turn into a soul reaper at any point in time that he wants to. We know that Ichigo turns into a soul reaper by using his badge. That's how he that's how he turns into a soul reaper. Or I even wonder if Tite has changed that, because usually back in the day when you would turn into a soul reaper, you would have to leave your like body, your real body, somewhere else, so that way you could traverse as a soul reaper. But Kazui just jumps out the window and turns into his soul reaper form. So he's found some kind of way to transcend, the abilities. He's found some kind of way to transcend. I'm not gonna say space and time, but he doesn't have to put his body anywhere else. He jumped out and transformed into a soul reaper. But he does something weird. He takes this guy to a shrine, and then he talks about he's doing a weird ritual, aka incantation, where he has to clap his hands three times. He does this spin. He says you bow twice and then you clap one more time, and he opened up a portal. And it doesn't seem like your like natural Serete, aka Soul Society portal, because that always opened up with the traditional Japanese sliding doors, right? This seems like he opened up a portal to hell. And the reason why I say that, because the black butterflies come out, which you learn at the end of the chapter the significance of these butterflies are. And so from there, and then the gateway also has teeth. So it's like either he opened a portal to Hueco Mundo, or it's hell that he opened up a portal to. But even it might not be hell, because at the end of the chapter, we see the gates of hell, and they're totally look different from what Kazui opens up. So we don't know what Kazui is doing here, but he opens up a portal somewhere, and it's a white background, which is what Tite Kubo is known for doing, putting in white backgrounds, and then you get the title for this. This is Bleach, No Breaths from Hell. So that's the title of this one-shot chapter. Then you get a 3 hours earlier. So this is before Kazui opens up the portal, and you get to see Ichika, the daughter of Renji Abarai and Ryuka Kuchiki. And so, and then you also get reintroduced to Ibari, who is the assistant captain for Squad 11, aka the sub-captain of the best Serete captain, Kenpachi Zaraki. You get to see him, train her, spar with her, a little bit. And then Taichi just starts throwing in all of the...
Kenpachi's not the best.
Yes, he is.
You know he's not.
Yes, he is.
It's your boy Byakuya. He's the best.
No. Byakuya couldn't even beat Kenpachi before Kenpachi got his Shikai. I don't want to hear it.
Kenpachi and him were trying to fight each other with Yami, and that should tell you how bad your boy is.
That shows you how bad Kenpachi is. Byakuya had a whole Bankai, and he couldn't beat Kenpachi. Kenpachi didn't even have a Shikai. I don't even know. They're not comparable. Remy couldn't even imagine himself beating Kenpachi and tore himself asunder. Anyway, I digress. But you get it to where Kubo just starts throwing everybody in, who like he's ever drawn in the series being before. You have the other sub captain of Squad 11, Shika, show up alongside the bald headed one, Ibari. Then you get the actual conversation between Ichigo and Renji, and this is the first time we get to see Ichigo, who looks a lot like his dad Ishin Kurosaki. Yeah. And then you get to see Ichigo's friends, Keigo and them, who still haven't changed from like years ago. They're still goofballs. But you get to see Rukia with her side ponytail in here. Now, the weird thing about this chapter is that they want to get a hollow to sacrifice at the grave of Ukitake, aka Captain, as I used to always call him. It was that long disease, Captain Tuberculosis, because he was always coughing. Yeah. So basically, it's their symbol for letting the ones who died pass on, right? But we learn a weird thing in this chapter from one of the Arancars. I think it was Arancar number 9. I don't know how to say his name. It's in Spanish, so I'm not even going to try to butcher his name. But he's a pink-haired one. He comes back and he's like, when you guys do that ceremony, you actually send the former captains to hell because their Reiatsu was so strong. So he's like, and he reasons it because Sosuke Aizen is no longer in commission. He's locked up inside that chair, so he can't do anything. Andrew Habak is gone. So the ones who are holding the balance, besides the Soul King, those two are holding the balance because their Reiatsu was so strong. But since both of them are now gone, there's an imbalance. And we learned in the beginning of the series, whenever there's an imbalance, that's why hollows are able to come forth. And so you have it to where now he's saying, he tells us in this chapter that that's why hell is releasing these hollows that don't have Reiatsu. And it's alarming because Reiatsu is how you can feel spiritual pressure from someone. Well, Ichigo and them get caught completely off guard. They get caught flat-footed, and Renji just gets hit because his daughter. He gets distracted by his daughter because she's like, Dad, look out! There's something behind you. He's like, why are you here? And before he can finish his sentence, he gets knocked out of the air, and then Ichigo turns around and cuts the thing in half. And they don't even know what they're looking. Then a bunch of them appeared, like Minos Grande level hollows just start appearing out of nowhere, but you can't tell by their Reiatsu. You can't feel their spiritual pressure. But before all of that, again, as I said, Tacto Kubo just takes his time to reintroduce us to every single character he's ever drawn. So we get Kurosuchi Miyori, who looks really weird, weirder than what he's ever been inside the series. But he's learned how to use hollow projection. He can project himself throughout the whole Serete. We get to see the fourth company barracks, which is led by Shinji. You get to see fifth company barracks, which Unohana was the second company. No, Soifan the second company.
Yeah.
Unohana was fourth, right?
Yeah.
So you get to see fifth company. No, that wasn't Shinji. Shinji's the one in the fifth company. I forget who fourth. Yeah, fourth company is hers. Was Unohana's sub captain, who's now the captain. Wasn't it? Yeah, it was Isane. She is now the captain of fourth company again, which used to be Unohana. Unohana died, allowing Kenpachi to figure out who he really was, because it was an order from everyone from Kiraku, who was the acting commander general after Yamato died, and they ordered him to train Kenpachi. Kenpachi told Unohana to do it since she was the former Kenpachi Zaraki. And once he got back his memories, he not only unlocked his Shikai, he also unlocked his Bankai, which seemed to be a Euro, the little girl with the pink hair, because once he unlocked it, she disappeared altogether. And so you have it to where Ishika is following them around. You have it to where Shunsui's, which he was the first one. He was the first company barracks. You have it to where his sub captains and them are all gathering. Then you have this new character, Atao. He's deaf, so he's a Psy language, but he has this like super overpowered technique to where he can summon hawks, and that's what he uses to take out one of the new hollows. In the chapter, it's a dope spread that was drawn inside of here. We go to the 10th company barracks, aka everyone's most hated captain, Hiyomaru himself. No, Totsugaya. Hitsugaya. His power is Hiyomaru. This is the ice dragon. You get to see him. You get to also see his vice captain in here. So yeah, you get to see Kiba, and all of them. And then from that scene, it switches over to where these new hollows attack them in the new Karakura town. But then you get to meet this Gyaru character, aka which is the Gal character, Japanese culture. They're ones who love Western culture so much, and they're always depicted as being tan. Her name is Captain Yu Yayayara. She's actually in the 8th company, which used to be Tosin's company, the blind guy.
Oh.
So she's actually the sub captain for the new captain there. She wants to take a picture with Ichigo. He's like, no, I don't want to be in the Ichigo. It's like you're like a young old man, pretty much. And then you get to see this butterfly again. This butterfly is known as it has the kanji of hell written on it, which you learn from the Arankar. And actually on page 33, You get to see what I was talking about earlier, which is the gates for the Serete. They're the traditional Japanese door. The sliding doors opening up. Whatever Kazui opened, I'm going to say it was a gateway to hell. Is what he actually opened up. And so you get to see this new form of hollow, which from what the Arankar explained, their holes are no longer in the middle of their chest. They're like halos. And so she's the only one who could see it because it appeared behind Ichigo and Renji. But what throws you off is that none of the other captains saw it. And that's because they can't sense its Reiatsu. And then that's when you get the explanation from this it was a hollow. It was the Arankar who shows up is the one who fought Ishida and Renji a long time ago. Ishida is Yuryu back in the beginning of the Huecomundo arc, aka Aizen's arc. And these hollows that show up, it looks like a Minos Grande, but a super hairy one. It actually looks like one of the ones that they fought in the war. But you go all the way back there. I'm about to get to this guy's name. My brother, I believe he knows how to pronounce his name.
Who?
The Arankar who Renji and them fought. Sazayel Aparo. I believe that's how you say it.
Yeah, it looks like what they did. It took the name of like the angel type name. This is Azazel, and maybe even like a demon type name because remember in that movie with Denzel Washington, where they were trying to figure out how to stop that. I think it was Hazael.
Yeah.
If you look at that name, it kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah. So it's it's Sadael Aparo. He shows back up, and he knows again, as I said, he knows Renji when Renji beat him. But half of his body is all black. He has one black skeleton arm. The other one looks like his original form. But he no longer has a hole in his chest because, as he says, that he's at a higher form now, and the hole that used to be at his chest is now a halo behind his back.
Yeah,
because he's evolved now.
You know what it reminds me of? Remember how I think was it Chinese mythology where they would show how like the halos would be behind them, kind of like in a room. In a room, and like a lot of them do that type of stuff. That's what it kind of reminds us. The artwork definitely reminds me of right there.
Exactly. And so he goes on and gives his explanation, and we know that in the beginning of the series we were told that really wicked souls cannot be saved, and they get sent to hell. So obviously his soul was really wicked, and he got cast into hell. But he talks about how like hell is a great place. He goes and he's actually transforming as he's talking to Renji. He ends up emitting horns from his head, which is the callback to Ichigo Kurosaki when he hollowized. He got his mask to a higher state, and then eventually gave him horns, which he was able to shoot off Reiatsu Settle Blast at the highest form of Sero, even higher than old Kirora's form. And says, he was like, he gets excited because he sees Renji's daughter, and he's like, you know what, I'm going to kill her first. And then as Renji is trying to get her away, he sprouts forth all these chains, and they end up wrapping around. They go through one of Renji's shoulders, and it goes through his leg, and they start to wrap him up. But then you have Ichigo come in and cut him apart with his released sword, his Shikai form of his sword, which his sword is always in the Shikai form. And so he tells them to get out of there and to take her somewhere safe. The former Erankar, now Hellspawn, he's like, he says, I'm going to like kill you. And Ichigo is like, I don't even know who you are. He's like, who are you? He's like, who are you, dude? And then we get the explanation for what everything is from Kiraku Shunsui, aka the acting Gotai 13
pimp.
captain.
That dude's a pimp. I don't care what anybody says. That man's a pimp.
Which I believe his squad is Squad 13. is because the first squad was Ukitake's squad.
Yeah.
Was squad 1, but Captain Yamamoto's squad was squad 13.
Yeah.
And Shunsui is the one who actually gives us the old folk tale of what this stuff is. He says it's photoplasm from hell, which means it's Reiatsu. Is actually what it is. It's spores from hell. He says it's been told for a good long while in the Soul Society. I even thought so. There's something called spirit class. In the past, it was a scale used among aristocrats. It indicated the density of the spiritual pressure within the reishi. A normal company member has 20th class reishi, an assistant captain has 5th or 4th class reishi, and those greater than 3rd class are captains. A soul reaper's body is composed of reishi. When they pass on, their body turns into reishi and is reclaimed by the soil of the soul society. But anyone above 3rd class has spiritual pressure too dense to be reabsorbed without intervention. The council reise is a ceremony to allow that reishi to be returned. That is as much as we learned at the Shinoreiju Suin. Now, this next part is old wives' tale. In actuality, reishi that is 3rd class and above can never return to the soil of the soul society. So what are we to do? It's not as though we could allow overly powerful reishi to linger loose in soul society indefinitely. And therein lies the other reason behind Kanso Reisai. With the ceremony, the deceased captains are, and this you go back to the Arankar, he tells us that they're cast into hell. So whenever they do this ceremony to honor the captains, it actually sends them to hell. So Yamamoto got sent to hell, Unohana got sent to hell, and this year when they're trying to do the ceremony, Ukitake got sent to hell. Because obviously that balance of Sosuke Aizen and Yuwatch is now gone. So there's an imbalance. There's nowhere for that reishi to go, and so that reishi gets cast into hell. So, and then you get after the Arankar gives his speech and tells Ichigo everything that's going on. He says their companions they send their companions to hell with their own hands. Is it true, Captain Kiraku? Have we really? This is Ru Kia talking to him. He says it may be, and even I am only realizing that now. And then the Arankar says, "You don't believe me?" And he says, "What else is my appearance be for you proof of? The balance has collapsed." And this is where he talks about Sosuke Aizen and Yuwatch. He says the powerful spiritual pressures that were holding the maw of hell shut, Sosuke Aizen and Yuwatch have disappeared. Sosuke Aizen and Yuwatch were around when the Soul King got killed, because the Soul King was a linchpin that held everything together. Which is why Urahara didn't want to break the will. Remember, Sosuke Aizen wanted to, and he was mad at Urahara because he's like, "You're just as smart as me. Don't you want to, see what happens?" And he was like, "I don't want to break the linchpin." He was like, "I'd rather keep it intact." Kiraku reveals at the end of the series, I believe it's actually in the book, that their intention was that since the Soul King got taken out, they wanted to make Ichigo Kurosaki the new Soul King. And it would explain because he had all forms. He was a Soul Reaper, he was a Hollow, and he was a Stern Ritter. Yeah. He was all three. So they actually wanted to make him the new Soul King. Because he could interpret all three of their powers at once. But Ichigo refused and wanted to live a life with Orihime and his friends. He wanted to retain living as a human.
You mean Naruto wanted to make love, sweet love to Sakura? I'm wrong series. Wrong series, guys. I'm sorry, my bad.
And then he says, since then, you have sent those with powerful spiritual pressures to hell one after the other. And the jaws of hell can now be wrenched open from the other side. Yeah. Court Guard founder Genryusai Yamamoto, Death Sword Retsu Unohana. And today, you're early. Kami Kake, God Sworn, Jushiru Ukitake. And Ichigo says, "What are you saying?" the ceremony still hasn't. He's about to say it still hadn't been done, but then he cuts him off and says it's done. Here just now, you massacred the beast of hell. So all those new hollows that they killed finished off the actual ceremony for him. He says, right in front of you, right in front of, and he says his name again. I'm not going to say his name again. He says, now then, I'm going home. You can think of you can think on this. He says, hell has always been beside you. I certainly doubt you failed to notice. Haven't you ever wondered why 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 the butterflies that guide the soul reapers have hell in their name? And it goes to one, and then you see the gates of hell, and then they're actually forming eyes, and then it goes back to Kazui, Ichigo's son, and then it says Bleach, new breaths from hell, and that's the arc. And so again, we don't know what Kazui did because it seems like he opened up a gate to hell with him with that spirit that like he was with, but that's the end. And so we don't know if Tite Kubo is going to actually come back for a weekly release. Is going to be monthly release, and then in Shonen Plus, or is he going to do quarterly releases like he does with Burn the Witch? Which he only releases a season every year, and then that's it. So that's the 73 pages of greatness that Tite Kubo dropped on us with impeccable art.
Tite Kubo's finest work.
The last shot of Ichigo's song, it looks incredible with his face, the like detail on it.
Yeah,
especially with his eyes.
He's a perfect mashup of Ichigo and Orihime.
He looks exactly like both of them.
Yeah.
So it's like we don't know where this is going. It can go anywhere from here. With the
I have an explanation as why he was able to turn.
What's that?
He has Ichigo's abilities, but he also has Orihime's abilities. And Orihime had the ability to override anything that's
yeah, she could reject reality. I mean, maybe that is what he did when he jumped out the window. But
I think they're gonna go for if he knows comic books. If Tite Kubo knows any comic books,
yeah,
he might go for a Franklin Richards effect to it.
Yeah,
because Franklin Richards is stupid powerful.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing is that we don't see. I mean, as I said,
Ichigo, like he's not even afraid to go in there.
Exactly,
and we clearly all knew that was hell because that looked like hell.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying because the butterflies also came out as soon as he opened up the gate. Was butterflies, the black ones came out, and so
what has him going to hell though?
He goes there every night. Apparently, he sneaks out there to go. Well, he snuck out there to go and meet the 15-year-old ghost, but he took the ghost seemingly to hell. Everywhere he took him to, because we know soul reapers you usually take the butt end of their sword and they would stamp it on their head and send them to the soul society. But now since there's an imbalance because of those two Reiatsus of Aizen, and you watch her going, Ichigo is there, so it would be kind of like, wouldn't he be a new balance? But I guess his balance only would balance out soul society, so you need an antithesis of Ichigo,
something that holds something in the middle together.
And he says it's Ukitake. I guess he's the one coming out of that gate.
I think
why would he be a bad guy though? That's what throws it off. Is that Ukitake shouldn't be a bad guy?
I think he's corrupted. I think that's what hell does. It sounds like they get corrupted, and it wouldn't at all surprise me if his
I'm saying
was going on there was somehow healing them, trying to recover them.
Maybe, but it's like, again, his explanation in the beginning of the series of what hell was the serious wicked souls go to hell.
Yeah.
Ukitake wasn't wicked. Nor is Yamamoto, nor is Unohana. The reason why they're going to hell is because there's an imbalance. So what would convert them to being evil? Because if it's Ukitake coming out of the gates,
yeah, but
that wouldn't make any sense.
Stuck his sword through them and chopped him up.
Was it him or was it somebody else? Because that didn't look like his Zanpakuto. We know what his Zanpakuto looks like. He has twin swords just like Kiraku Shinsui or Shansui. So whatever stabbed I mean, no, there are his because his were.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, his one went forward and one went back. No, it actually forked.
Yeah,
but this one is in reverse. One blade goes forward, one blade comes back.
I think that what that was him calling him to do that because he's gross. He's gross.
Yeah, so
that character is not. He's that's not the end of him.
Yeah,
that's him just showing off how disgusting he is, how disturbing he is. So I think that it's going to be fascinating to see what he does with it. Yeah. I do sincerely hope he continues to write like that, though.
Yeah, definitely.
And also continues to bring up that same quality of work
because it's clear and it's concise.
Yeah, it's to the point.
It was 73 pages of straight fire.
Yeah,
this is like I was reading it at work while I was at work today, and I was like, because obviously all of the chapters from Shonen Jump released today. They didn't release. Spy Family came out yesterday, but all of the regular releases came out today. We don't know why. They just pushed the release because last week they all came out early, like 30 minutes early, and then this week they just got pushed to Monday without an explanation. I would just encourage Viz Media and Shonen Jump to be careful with that because you can let stuff slip, but once you keep on letting stuff slip, yes, it's only $1.99 a month to be able to read not just the current mangas, but go throughout the whole back catalog. Like I can read every chapter of One Piece inside of this app because I pay for it. But this is why piracy exists. It's like as much as we want people to support the official release of every manga and every chapter. This is why piracy exists because you do arbitrary things like, okay, we're just going to push it back without an explanation. So what's to stop you for pushing it back a month? What's to stop you from pushing it back 2 weeks, without an explanation? This encourages piracy. I know no one likes to talk about it, but that's why pirate sites exist. That's why TCB scans exist. Because long before Shonen Jump came around, there was no one translating Japanese mangas.
I did not read Kiss manga. I'm just telling y'all that right now.
Yeah, it's like Berserk. Berserk. It has one, but no, the series that still doesn't have an official release to this day, which is surprising, is Kingdom. Kingdom doesn't have an official Shonen Jump release, and for years it was number 2 behind One Piece in best-selling manga until recent history, which has been Kimetsu no Yaiba. Tokyo Revengers, and now Jujutsu Kaisen. Those are the number 1, 2, and 3 selling mangas at this point right now.
And I'm going to tell you the truth. I personally think Tite Kubo was like, Jujutsu Kaisen is taking my stuff, man. No. Time for Day to show
I'm the original artist.
Time for Day to show how these kids get done. You know what I mean?
But yeah, unless we have anything else, then that'll be a nice bow.
Yeah, that'll be a good one, man. Because like I said, I think that it was good. I thought that the chapter was excellent. I thought just great seeing Tite Kubo get back in his groove and tell his story. So it does make me look forward to when he does start writing this stuff out completely. I only hope that, and it just depends, because like you said, I think he was ready just to quit the series of Bleach. Mm-hmm. And I think now that he's had an opportunity to sit back, do some retrospect, know that they're actually going to give him his roses with the next one that's going to feature the 1,000-Year War arc.
Yeah,
and what I honestly hope is they'll go back and fix a lot of that stuff.
Fix the ending of that.
Yeah.
And we actually get to see Ichigo's Bankai this time.
Oh, man. Even Company Zero. Zero.
Company Zero was so disappointing.
Ugh, dude.
So disappointing. Underwhelming. But yeah. Especially the guy who makes the Zanpakutos. Like the way he got taken out was just
trash.
Super trash. But yeah, that would do it for us tonight. Obviously, as we always say, like or comment.
Please
leave a dislike, whatever.
Please,
any type of interaction is a boost for our channel. So obviously, it helps us get our content out there. So,
yes, sir.
So for sure, this has been a great stream with you guys, and we will talk to y'all soon. Peace.
Hey, let us know. Have a great day, and let's get this week going. See y'all later.